Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast, where I'm still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me over there in Tequila, Georgia, my good friend, playing University of North Georgia alumni, and the host of the Georgia Voice of College Football, Matt Green, is here. Matt, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. It is good to be back with you, talking ball every week.
Talking ball, me out here trying to avoid the rays of the sun as I'm just trying to watch the Atlanta Falcons out and about here in Knoxville, Tennessee. A nice dub for the Falcons, which I'm conflicted about because I want a regime change in 2026. But you also
like Raheem Morris wise?
Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson.
Isn't this his first year?
Terry Fontenot? No.
This is year 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, get out of here, man. You Falcons fans, you people. Insatiable.
It's pretty bad. And I am totally okay with another regime change here. But lost season. Move up to 4-7. Kirk Cousins playing today. But yeah, good win, I guess. Taking down the Saints. But yeah, there was I was conflicted because I'm not that guy who just goes, hey, can we? I tried to tough it out a little bit, trying to dodge the sun. I went one-on-one with the sun, trying to watch the TV, which had the sunset going on behind it. And that's why my light.
Is this in a bar or this is in a house?
It was in a sports bar.
Okay. I was going to say, in the house, I feel like you could have done something about this.
Oh,
okay.
100%. But out in public, like, you don't want to be a nuisance and everything else. And you're like, I do appreciate you turning the TV on to the thing I wanted to watch. Unfortunately, the one you turned is becoming a problem for me. It's becoming a hazard for my vision. So, yeah, it was tough. But eventually we got it changed to a different one. I was able to turn the other way. But yeah, it was. I probably shouldn't have toughed it out at all. I probably should have just been like, this is not going to work. I don't know. So
I feel like there's some sort of analogy, something going on there with the Falcons blinding, just, I don't know, blinding yourself to watch the Falcons. I don't know. It's something. There's something there. I'm not smart enough to make sense of it, but I don't know. Maybe it was a message that you shouldn't be watching this. I don't know.
Auburn fans watching the Auburn offense for the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's like kind of blinding you. Higher powers that be, blinding you. So not putting you through this. I don't know. It was a win for the Falcons this Sunday, though.
It was a win. It was a win for the Tennessee Volunteers in Gainesville on Saturday night. It was a win for the Thomas household. Had a fun weekend. Family came up for the weekend. I had a busy football weekend. I was at Sevier County for Sevier County versus Lincoln County, which was an all-timer over there in Sevierville. Came down to the wire. Big come from behind.
Home of Dolly Parton, right?
Home of Dolly Parton, and the defending state champions in 5A, Sevier County Smoky Bears. And they are now in the semifinals up against Halls here on Friday night. But had that Friday night and then went to Gatlinburg on Saturday and had fun in Gatlinburg with the fam, and came back, and nice little relaxing football day here on Sunday as well, Matt Green. But no naps for you. You'll be pleased to know I didn't get any naps in.
Yeah, with this slate on Saturday, you could have gotten a nap in. There was wasn't our best slate, I think, in college football this Saturday. But that 3:30 game was one of the best ones. So I don't know if you would have napped through the USC Oregon game if you had to take that nap. But yeah, it was not the strongest Saturday. I'll say that.
I thought it was a strong Saturday because of what we saw from the Tennessee Volunteers. We have to start out of the gate where you had no shame texting me, putting on a reverse jinx. Nasty work by you throughout the evening. But Matt Green, Tennessee, there are so many different things to talk about here. 24 hours removed from the Vols' first win in Gainesville, Florida since 2003. Now the last 2 quarterbacks to go into Gainesville and win on the road as a Tennessee Volunteer at the quarterback position, both from California. Casey Clausen, California kid. Joey Aguilar, California kid. So note to self, any year we have Florida on the road, make sure our quarterback is from California. And it's also a what if.
Should've
Nico
put Nico
Iamaleava
in there.
from California as well. Would he have gone into the swamp this fall if he had been with the team this year and kept that going?
I was thinking if he put him in 2023, maybe he would have gotten the win.
Maybe. Well, Matt Green, it was just so much fun. And there's a lot of different takeaways from Tennessee beating Florida. One of the things that I think a lot of fans, if they were looking for anything on the negative side, it's that it felt like Tennessee took their foot off the gas here in this game, especially in the second half. But I don't think that's a big deal. That didn't really bother me, especially because, like, man, you haven't beaten Florida in 22 years on the road. I just appreciated getting the victory in Gainesville, and it was just electric, man. I mean, Tennessee wins 31-11 in this football game. It wasn't even that close. Tennessee just carved them up, and this was something I said in my preview, which was I didn't see how Tennessee was going to win this game if Tennessee did not get off to an extremely hot start. This game was over at the half, really 31-0, but 14-0 in the after the first quarter was one of those things that I thought Tennessee had to jump on Florida, like how they jumped on Georgia. It's what I talked about in our preview. It's just the way Tennessee gets people above them or tough road environments, whatever, is they jump on you early. Tennessee is a type of team, a type of offense, everything else. Like the rhythm on Saturday was so good for this group. Joey Aguilar was throwing darts right out of the gate. He was getting Mike Matthews involved early. Deshaun Bishop was fantastic out of the gate. Joey Aguilar, 7 for 7, just coasting. He finishes 17-22. No picks, where the picks problem that I talked about last week, that he had to get cleaned up. Those 2 first half interceptions in back-to-back games, that was cleaned up here. 9.3 yards per attempt, even when Florida made sure to limit the big play. Like Tennessee's longest pass of the air was actually to a tight end and Ethan Davis that went for 23 yards. And if you told me before this football game that Tennessee's highest or longest passing yard or passing completion in this ball game went to a tight end, I would say Tennessee probably lost, but Tennessee did not. And Ethan Davis had his best game as of all yet. And I've said that twice this year. So great to see him come along. The Collins Hill native, 5 receptions, 72 yards, TD in this football game. But like I said, Mike Matthews got in on the action. Brazel did. It was a quiet night from Braylon Staley. You didn't have to use him a lot in this game, but Tennessee ran the ball down Florida's throat. 51 carries, 248 yards on the ground, 5 yards on average, 3 TDs. The Star Thomas breakaway that he got the ball punched out. Great play by the Florida player to almost punch it out of Star's hands going into the end zone.
That was that fourth down. Where they broke like the 50-yard, no, third down, 17, where they broke like the 50-yard run.
Yes. Yeah, and that was what put him up to 28. You know, like that was the one where, hey, if there were some plays in that game where if it goes a different way, like if you bumble it out of the end zone there, it's a momentum shifter a little bit. But again, for Tennessee, Star Thomas in particular goes down right before, so it was not to be. But there was a couple of those, right, where Joey Aguilar got hit and fumbled the ball, but Tennessee was able to jump on it. Like how different is the game if Tennessee does not recover that fumble?
That's the same possession, right? That's like a couple of plays before that run. Okay.
So it was great. The linebackers had their best game of all. The top 3 tacklers were all linebackers. Tennessee played a bunch of 3 linebackers set in this game. And T-Lander, Spillman, and Carter had a combined 23 tackles in this football game, 2.5 sacks between the 3. So great game from them. But there was a lot of different positives. I mean, Tennessee moves to 8-3. It was just, it's just so funny because one of the things I wrote down was, man, I mean, that was the least stressful Vols win of this SEC slate. And if you'd told any Tennessee fan or analyst or whoever before the year that the road trip to Florida will be the most low stress, anxiety free games on the slate for Tennessee this season. And that's what it was. Like Tennessee started hot, finished hot, and did exactly what they need to do. Yeah, I know.
Is that the only one? Is that the only easy win in conference play all year?
I mean, Kentucky's technically not easy, but Kentucky never felt in doubt.
They won kind of going away in that one, right?
I would say Kentucky is the closest, but yeah, outside of Kentucky, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's wild. Also, if you think Tennessee like took their foot off the gas in the second half, you're just kind of dumb, to be honest. Like they had the ball 3 times in the second half. Like you essentially got stopped once in the second half, and then you had a 15 play drive that ended in a missed field goal, and then you just sucked the air out of the ball for the last 8 minutes of the game. Like, I mean, that drive ends on what, like the 10-yard line, 15-yard line. They'd probably score a touchdown if they need to, but it's just kind of bizarre to only get 3 possessions in the entire second half. Like you're up 31-0. You don't really need to do anything else.
Well, part of that was you had 26 plays on 2 of those possessions. Like I mean, you sat on the ball, and I think that the bigger issue
hardly like stopped them in the second half, even though they scored 0. You know,
right? And also, kind of can I say, was it I don't want to say bad look, but I wondered. Do you remember when Billy Napier kicked that field goal in the bowl game against Arizona State to keep the shutout streak alive?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Well, they did it here too, because that streak's still going.
3?
Huh?
Did they lose? Did they only score 3 in that game? That Arizona State game?
Yes. Was it Arizona State or Oregon State? I feel like it was Oregon State.
Oregon State, yes, Las Vegas or something. Yeah, I do remember that game. They did score a touchdown in this one though. So
well, it was later, but the thing was, what I'm saying is like they were down 31-0, and it was late in the third or midway through the third, and they kicked the field goal to make it 31-3. I mean, it was one of those where
it's a streak that goes back to like 1984 or something. It's like, cool, man. Like you've been blown out a bunch of times since then. It just never have scored 0.
It seems silly.
Congrats. 3-8.
But what did you make of this win for Tennessee, Matt Green?
Yeah, just kind of like you were saying, it was just kind of surprising. This is Zeus's home dog of the week, you know. So obviously, I thought the Gators were going to show up with some different juice, but that Star
Thomas,
Star Thomas, that play was definitely the backbreaker because it was like you said, you just got the hit on Aguilar. You're down 21-0, but you just get a stop, like. You know, whatever, we can get something going here. But then it's 3rd and 17. Not only just converting a 3rd and 17 on the ground is just deflating, but you break a 50-yard run and basically score a touchdown on the play. It was just 28-0. You just knew this game was over. But yeah, I mean, just this is what Tennessee should do to a team like Florida. And you see a lot of games like this where someone should, based on what they are on paper, like they should just dominate the opponent, but it's college football and it doesn't always work out that way. But to go into the swamp and a big time atmosphere too. Like I saw a bunch of Florida fans talking about, oh, this is how we show up for a 3-7 team. This is kind of program we are, whatever. It's like, yeah, they definitely showed up. So it was like a big game atmosphere, Fowler and Herb Street, and Tennessee didn't allow this to be a game for 2 quarters. Like it was over before halftime.
Yeah. I will say, though, and again, this goes back to that week-to-week type of deal, because Tennessee obviously had not played well for nearly a month, basically, and they were right back to how they fired on all cylinders out of the gate against Georgia. This is just a week-to-week thing. You just don't know what you're going to get from these teams week over week, and Florida is one of those teams as well, where they get blown out by Kentucky and Tennessee now, and then they'll go and they'll push Georgia and take them to the wire, and it's a different deal altogether. But I will say, watching Vanderbilt a little bit on Saturday afternoon and watching some stuff this morning, I mean, the way Vanderbilt attacks defenses and everything else, and we're going to talk about Vanderbilt and what they did to Kentucky here in a little bit, but Tennessee was not challenged defensively in a way, and they have not been challenged in this way since Alabama. So I do think folks who look, the defense was good in this game. Tennessee's defense did what they needed to do. Like I said, the linebackers had a really good night. The corners were good. The safeties weren't really asked to do a whole lot because DJ Lagway and Florida didn't really challenge Tennessee over the top. It was a lot of Jaden Baugh. He's a really good tailback, and I'm curious what his future is at Florida because I think he's an impact player. But Tennessee has not been
very curious what his future is. I think a lot of teams would like that guy at running back.
And I do kind of wonder. I mean, is that just you saying the next Florida running back like ETN? You're like, I'll take a Jaden Baugh in 26 at Georgia. Is that?
Oh yeah, because he is a Georgia guy too. So
where's he from?
I forget. I want to say like McDonough or something. I forget. I'll look it up.
Okay.
But keep going.
I see Atlanta. Yeah, he might be from what high school did he go to? He went to Columbia. Oh, he's from Decatur.
Okay. Yeah, so he's a Georgia guy. So who knows? But yeah, he's going to be their most attractive. I mean, some of those freshman playmakers too. Like, we'll see how much talent they're able to retain with the new coach. If it's Lane Kiffin, then maybe a lot. But we'll see.
For sure. But like I said, helmet stickers, give me Ethan Davis, Mike Matthews. Deshaun Bishop is just continuing. Like, he's just a great tailback, man. Like, he's just a great tailback. And he's just solid, man. 24 carries, 116 yards, 4.8 yards per attempt, 2 TDs. He had that awesome leap. It's my dad. We were watching it, and he called it the Herschel leap, I think. And then some other group chat of him diving in. So it was just a great night, man. It was just so weird because you kept waiting for Florida to get back into it and make it a game, because that's been the story for over the 10 last meetings in Gainesville. So you kept waiting for Tennessee to give Florida an opening to get back into it and make us sweat a little bit, but that just never was the case. Like, it never got to that point. So shout out to Hype Bowl and this Tennessee staff for doing what they needed to do and set up what will be the biggest Tennessee Vanderbilt game in a very, very long time, with a lot on the line for Vanderbilt, obviously, but there's going to be, I imagine, a lot of smack talk. I think it's going to be a hype atmosphere. It's one that with Tennessee winning this football game, I hope a lot of students get back into town for that game Saturday afternoon inside Neyland Stadium to put a bow on the 2025 college football season, Matt Green. But it was, I'm so hyped. I could not, if you had told me before the year I'd be this hyped for Tennessee Vanderbilt inside Neyland Stadium to wrap up the year, I would not have believed you. But that's where we're at with where things have fallen here down the stretch. So I'm very excited for that, but I'm also very excited that Tennessee beat the Florida Gators and have now beat the Florida Gators 2 years in a row, Matt Green. It's been a long time since the Tennessee Volunteers have been able to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be pre-2003, I would imagine, right? Probably right before that too, I'm sure. Probably not long before that. Yeah, it's a big win for Tennessee. Do you know off the top of your head, like, the last time this was a first ranked matchup, Tennessee Vanderbilt?
Ooh, probably a Franklin year, right?
But was Tennessee ranked in the Franklin years? Probably not, right?
That's true.
You're probably going back to like the 40s or something.
Was Cutler ever ranked with Bobby Johnson? Did they ever get ranked?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure they had better than like an 8-win season. But yeah, I'll let you look into that this week. Let's do some research for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head. So, Matt Green, your Georgia Bulldogs here on a Pod Divided, Balls versus Dogs. Let's hit on the takeaways you had from their final tune-up before they traveled to Atlanta to take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and some clean old-fashioned hate to wrap up the Georgia 2025 regular season. But you take care of the Charlotte 49ers. Tim Albert has not had a great year 0 at Charlotte, coming in from Ohio, where he had been a longtime successful coach there, replacing Frank Solich years ago. But yeah, it has not gone well at Charlotte in year 0. So we'll see how that works for him going into 2026. But what did you make of Georgia's win, 35-3? Seemed like it's always a lock that Kirby's not going to cover those huge lines in these bye games and everything else. But I know there's not a whole lot you can take away. But what did you take away from it? Were there any young players that got some run that intrigued you in this game?
Yeah, the late season bye even more so than the early season, or not bye, late season cupcake more so than the early season cupcake too. Like, Georgia's trying to get out of here as little with as little injuries as possible. Shout out to Charlotte, underrated logo for the Charlotte 49ers. Big fan of that. I don't know about you. But yeah, there's not much you can take away from this game. Gunner, threw a pick, 17 of 21, just forced it on a 3rd and long. Puglisi's got an arm. It's good to see him getting in the game. Nate Frazier, looked fine again. Bo Walker is probably the biggest story in this one with 3 touchdowns. That was his biggest game of his career to this point, the true freshman. I think this game is also kind of a tryout in terms of who's getting redshirted is the way I've kind of heard about it a few times too. It's like if a guy played this week but doesn't play versus Georgia Tech, it's probably a good sign that like we're just getting him in a game, but still going to hold on to his red shirt. But yeah, I mean, these games suck so much in November, to be honest. I hate, and then you see like the comments from like Dan Lanning and the different people on social media of like, oh, well, yeah, that's because we play games in November. It's like, yeah, but it's like the first ranked win Oregon's had all season. Like, I don't want to hear anything about Oregon's schedule because of this week, but that's why I hate this week in general. It gives these other conferences ammunition to talk about the SEC scheduling when they have no business talking about the SEC scheduling. But yeah, it's just 35-3. Georgia's up 28-0 at halftime, then just kind of coasted, or 28-3, I should say, at halftime. And then you saw like 15 different guys caught a pass in this one. They were definitely all over the place there. One young guy I'll say is I've heard getting more and more hype is Rashawn Dinkins, the true freshman safety, because that's been Georgia's biggest issue on the defensive side of the ball is that second safety spot. Kyron Jones kind of took that spot over mid-season and then got injured. So it's been either Ja'Cory Thomas or you've seen Zion Branch. And we know that Georgia went to the portal to get like 3 of those guys. And the other 2 haven't even really been able to get on the field at all. So to see Rashawn Dinkins now playing a good bit, he might be on the verge of getting like starter minutes at that second safety spot opposite KJ Bolden. So that's interesting to watch out for. And I believe he's not the one that had the pick in the end zone. Who had the interception? That was Daniel Okonkwo that had the interception. Also, Ellis Robinson got a pick in this game. But yeah, it was is what it is. These games are kind of boring, but Georgia took care of business. It wasn't a game for more than 2 quarters. So that's what you're supposed to do in these games.
Yeah, for sure. And Georgia now, final date with the Yellow Jackets, who we'll talk about here, man. Just that was one I did not want to be right on, Matt Green. That was a tough one for the Jackets on Saturday night. But we'll talk about
stats. Like asking you about the Tennessee Vanderbilt, I was definitely keeping some stats about Georgia Tech being a top 10 matchup and things like that early in the season, and go ahead and throw those stats away. That's not the situation here. I think Tech is still ranked, right? But they're teetering around the top 25.
I think that's right.
Although I think they might be ahead of Pitt. So yeah, Tech 23, Pitt 24. So
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Also, A&M with a 1 first place vote after that performance against Samford. There was someone who's like, oh no, never mind. I'll take it back. They already had 1 first place vote the previous week. So I was about to say, if that performance against Samford, you were like, okay, I'm convinced A&M is a top. They're the number 1 team in the country.
Well, Matt Green, do you have a green line stat of the week from this weekend?
I don't necessarily have a green line stat of the week. Other than, did you see what Alabama did to Eastern Illinois on Saturday?
I did not.
I've never seen anything like this, sir. And I admitted I didn't watch a second of this game. 56-0 over Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois had 2 first downs in this game, sir. They had 34 yards. 34 yards in a football game. I've never seen anything like that. Also, it seemed like they were really juicing these rushing numbers. I didn't watch this game, so I guess I can't say they're juicing them because, you're passing up big. But we all know about Alabama's struggles to run the ball this year. Put up 269 yards on the ground, 269 to 14 on the ground. I've never seen anything like it. 20 passing yards, 14 rushing yards, 2 first downs in an entire football game. That's wild. But yeah, Alabama dominated the Eastern Illinois Panthers.
Well, it checks out because you know who's number 1 in total defense in the month of November?
But that'd be Alabama.
It's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're only allowing 159 yards a game. Next closest, Ohio State, 188.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna have to throw out these cupcake stats and do Power 4 stats when I'm comparing these teams.
Well, you want is this just only, let's see here. Okay, so for only Power 5 games, Alabama's number 10 in total defense this season. Number 1 in the SEC still. Ohio State number 1 overall. And Indiana's up there at 8. Oregon 3rd. A&M 12. I'm surprised A&M's that high. Feels like A&M's there might be a complete misread from me on A&M because I don't know if you feel the same. Does it feel like A&M has an elite defense? Because the numbers say they have one of the elite
their
defenses.
Run defense isn't great, but they also rush the hell out of the passer. So it's like that kind of balances out maybe the running production. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're an opportunistic defense. Like what Notre Dame scored a bunch on them. Obviously, they ended up winning that game, but Notre Dame's got a good offense. So
good defense too. They're top 12.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think I don't know how to feel about Texas A&M right now. It's like this resume is just absurd. What it's going to be by then, because also if they beat Texas, Texas will have their 3rd conference loss. So then they'll go down to being like maybe 8th or so in the standings. So it'll be an entire season if they beat Texas of not playing like a top 8 team in the conference.
Well, speaking of that, and look, love the Vols, but I saw this stat online. You know, if the Vols do not beat Vanderbilt this weekend, even with all how the season has gone, Tennessee will have ended the season without beating a team with a winning record, or beating a ranked team all year. They will not have beaten a ranked team.
Wow. I mean, not one. I assume Power 4 team. Maybe if they played one of the other teams had a winning record.
Oh no, yeah, I had it right the first time. They will not have a win over a team with a winning record if they do not beat Vanderbilt.
Wow. And they're favored, right? It's like 2.5, 3.5.
Yeah, it's like 2.5, 3.5. So it's been somewhere in there.
All right, I'm excited for that one. What time is that game? Night game?
No, it's afternoon. It's 3:30.
Okay. I'm excited for this this Friday triple header and then a Saturday. I don't know if you might have to get a nap in at some point, but I'm excited for it.
It's the best Friday slate we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it used to be. I know there was that Iowa-Nebraska game I was locked into a couple years ago on Black Friday. That was like 9-6, but I legitimately was locked in. It was like a fun college football game, but I'd rather see some teams and some rivalries that actually mean a little bit more.
I mean, think about it. You got Ole Miss and Mississippi State and potentially Lane Kiffin's last game. Who knows what happens there? That's at noon. Then you've got Georgia Tech, 3:30.
Should we talk about Lane Kiffin right now? Have we talked about Lane Kiffin about our takes on Lane Kiffin?
What do you got?
I feel like Ole Miss should just be enjoying the ride. Like I'm so confused by Ole Miss, and like I guess it's just rumors. We don't actually know the conversations they're having with Lane Kiffin, but I don't know, man. This is the best season maybe like in the history of Ole Miss football. I know they supposedly won something back in like the 60s or something. That might as well be, an entirely different, whatever. This is essentially the best season they've had ever. And all the talk is about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's not talking about other jobs. Like, no, he's not saying he's going to stay there because he's probably not going to. But he is doing his job to the best of his ability. Like, that's all you can ask for. His agent is doing his job and getting offers from other teams. You should do your job as the Ole Miss athletic department and be like, hey, there's some whispers. This might be a job opening. Would you be interested, John Summerall? Would you be interested insert coach here, Eli Drinkowitz or something? But that shouldn't overshadow the fact that you're ranked 6th right now and you have a chance to win the national championship. You're Ole Miss. This has never been a thing. If Lane Kiffin is going to not talk about it, you should just be glad that he's still doing his job and he's not checked out. Like, I don't know. Where am I off on my take on Lane Kiffin? Ole Miss should just be enjoying this season.
Well, I think if you see yourself differently, which Ole Miss, I don't think sees themselves as the Ole Miss of 15 years ago. Where like Ole Miss looks at themselves, and rightfully so, that hey, we're winning we have double digit winning seasons that we're stacking up now. We have a strong athletic department. We put a lot of time, effort, money, resources into our football program, into our basketball program. We won a baseball national championship a couple cycles ago. We have a strong athletic department, and we're not that same Ole Miss that we would like to be treated the same. This would as Florida, as LSU, as the big dogs in the SEC. So we're not just going to be like, oh, thanks for the memories, Lane. We're just going to ride this out. It's more of like, hey, we're a serious player too, and we want to keep this thing humming and have our ducks in a row to keep this momentum that we have going. So I understand why Ole Miss wants just an answer one way or the other so that they can start planning and make sure that their ducks are in a row, that they can keep building off this, because Ole Miss has a bunch of momentum. But it does just stink if he does end up leaving. Like, that's just unprecedented, obviously, to have your sitting head coach take another job here, and a lot of that just being because of the time of year and the college football calendar, which Nick Saban talked about this weekend, right, on game day, talking about how this
Nick
is not a
Saban's
Lane
been
Kiffin.
listening to us talk, I think.
Yeah, and it's not a Lane Kiffin problem. It's a college football calendar problem. And I hope this is not something that continues, though. I hope we do not see a whole lot more of these midseason coaching changes and this kind of overshadowing what should be, like you said, a celebratory, awesome season that Ole Miss fans and the administration and Lane Kiffin are enjoying. Because remember, Lane has put in an unbelievable amount of hours into this season. Like, that's the forgotten thing, is these guys, they pour so much time into the roster management, into developing all these players, developing their scheme. He had a quarterback change where it's like, we thought it was going to be Austin Simmons. Then we have to quickly pivot to Trinidad Chambliss because Austin gets hurt and was struggling out of the gate. And there's like all these different moving parts that, like, he cares. And he went into this year wanting to win a national championship at Ole Miss. So I mean, last year, what did I say? One of the things that's weird to me is, like, I thought last year's Ole Miss team had more talent, and I think they were the best team in the SEC this year. I don't think Ole Miss is the best team in the SEC this year, but I mean, these last 2 years have been awesome. But again, it's like, this is the glory years if you're an Ole Miss fan, and you're just kind of like, what am I supposed to think right now? Am I supposed to enjoy this? Am I supposed to be mad? Am I supposed to be happy? Like, how do I approach the playoff? Are we just going to make interim Pete Golding the deal and we're supposed to be thrilled? Are we going to get bumped down the CFP rankings if our coach leaves for a different job going into it? Like, the whole situation just kind of stinks for everybody involved, outside of LSU or Florida, if they do it, because it's like they don't have they have nothing to play for, so they're okay taking the coach and all that. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of stinks for everybody involved, and I don't know. I do think it's kind of weird that we're doing this like final countdown to the Egg Bowl, and knowing that there's potentially a timeline crunch there. But yeah, I don't know, Matt. It just, I would be very annoyed if I was an Ole Miss fan, because I want to enjoy this. I appreciate everything Lane's done. I want Lane Kiffin to continue to be my coach, but also, this sucks to just get constant updates and you just kind of turn your phone off. I would encourage Ole Miss fans, log off, because this would drive me nuts, just getting all the different quote tweets and everything else about rumblings and all the new money figures and all that kind of stuff with Lane, whether it's LSU, Ole Miss, Florida, whatever. I feel like it would drive me mad. And again, it's not the games are the thing that matters the most. And it just feels like a lot of what Ole Miss has done, which is extremely impressive on the field, is being overshadowed down the stretch. And I don't know. It's just like, the entire point is the games in the season, because like that Lane put in that time. Him and his staff put in all this effort to win a national title this year. So I would hate it for him too, because it's like, man, that kind of sucks. Like, that I wasted all this time and I have to leave because of the college football schedule or college football calendar just being the disaster that it is.
Like, I definitely get you from that perspective, and like it does suck for everyone involved. And if your program is legit going through their glory days, it sucks to just that coach is going to leave for another job, especially when you're in the SEC already, you know. But it is what it is. I think the Ole Miss administration is making this a bigger story because if they decide, oh, you're going to take another job, just go ahead and go already, and we'll have someone else coach this team in the playoff. That will be the dumbest decision Ole Miss has ever made. Like, I don't care. I would say Lane Kiffin, if you're going to continue to focus on this job until you leave, then like we want to see how far this team can go. Like you said, you've put in all the work with this team. You built this team. Like, let's see where they can go. Let's not cut ourselves off at the knees before the playoff even starts. Like, yeah, like, you know, there's Mark Richt, you know, staying on Florida State staff before when he took the Georgia job, and Florida State put up like 2 points in the national championship that year, and maybe he was distracted doing double duty or whatever. Like, those kind of things can happen. I would much rather roll the dice. Like, Lane Kiffin's the play caller. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just replace Lane Kiffin on the sideline and think you're going to get the most out of this team. The team's going to be completely different. Even if you try to do the same thing you've done all year, that'll just be the biggest mistake I've ever heard if they do that. And I don't know. There's a chance your program never gets back to this level. Don't sabotage it before it even happens.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it ends. But this also is a playoff problem. Like, all this is exacerbated because we're not doing a 14 playoff anymore because Ole Miss isn't in it. Like, who cares? Like, if you're doing if we're still in the 14 model or the BCS model,
It was
doesn't
still
matter.
a problem in the 4T model, though. Like, I mean, what's his name? Luke Fickell probably takes a bigger job that offseason. Cincinnati goes to the Final Four. You know, it's like, and he didn't want to be that guy that dipped on his team the same way Brian Kelly did however many years before. Like, so it already was a problem. It's just now a problem for more teams. So the problem's even bigger. But yeah, I mean, you got to do something. Maybe we get rid of that Army Navy week. Maybe Army Navy is the noon kickoff that is the primer for the whole playoff day or something like that. But like, so you just finish this season as early as possible. Like I said before, if you could end it January 1st, Rose Bowl is the national championship every single year, and then the portal's open for 2 weeks, whatever, signing day happens, and I don't know, school starts on January 20th or something, like that's enough time for people to do things. I mean, let's also not act like these guys aren't members of the same, you know, job market as the NFL as well. And so there's going to be guys that are going from college jobs, NFL jobs too. So, and vice versa. So it's never going to be easy, but they have to do something like that so that we're focusing on the playoff in the middle of the playoff, and we're not focused on the portal and signing day and whoever whatever the coaching carousel is. Like, that's the best thing the NFL does. It's like there's so many handshake agreements in the NFL. You know, Dan Quinn was in the Super Bowl, right? Before he took the Falcons job. It's like that's all the way till the end as the Seahawks DC, right? Am I remembering that correctly? And it's like after the Super Bowl's over, okay, now we can all make our decisions. It just college football's got to do something about this calendar. And I feel like we have solutions, but I don't know. The one portal window too is almost making this even trickier for some of these schools as well. So I don't know. It's not an easy thing to do, but they gotta get a hold of this somehow.
100%. Well, Matt Green, how do we do in week 13 here?
Week 13 was a pretty solid week for both of us, money line wise, sir. And then we had a winning record, so we'll take the wins. Zeus's home dog of the week, Florida Gators, did not pan out for him. He's 8-5 now on the season. You, sir, money line went 9-2 over the weekend. I went 8-3, however, so you still got a 4-game lead on me, money line this season. And then we both went 6-5 against the spread. So you, a lot of almost everyone that you picked a team, this team wins and this team covers, every single one of those you missed this past week. Arkansas, Kentucky, USC, and UCLA. I guess I missed Missouri and Arkansas as well. So if we would have just stick with a team that we had winning, that would have That would have steered us in the right direction. But on the season now, you're right under 50%, sir, at 49%, 71 and 74 on the season. I am 77 and 67 on the season. So I got a 6-game lead on you against the spread.
There you go. Well, Matt, we already talked about Tennessee and Georgia here out of the gate. Let's go to Missouri at Oklahoma. The Sooners were 7.5-point home favorites. They win this football game 17-6. Really a slog, I would say, in this game as a whole, Matt Green. But what did you take away from the Sooners becoming one game away from making the college football playoff?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair description. This is probably the pick I was most disappointed with over the weekend. I was so sure in my pick'em that I do with my friends. This was my 10-pointer. I was so sure that Missouri would cover. And then the fact that Oklahoma only puts up 17 points felt really good about this game being kind of like a slog, because this is what Oklahoma's defense does, and the offense isn't great. But the way they shut down Ahmad Hardy, I feel like that was predictable. Oklahoma's defense is just so good this year. But they shut them down even more so than I thought, and haven't holding Missouri to only 6 points. They don't have much of a passing game. And yeah, Oklahoma, I feel like this is just another good performance by them. Like, maybe if you're into style points and the offense, like, you don't think this is impressive, but I don't know. I feel like I'm watching the best defense in college football play every time I watch Oklahoma play. And if they can continue to hold opponents to these kind of performances, I don't know how high the ceiling is for this team, honestly. Like, I should say, I don't know what the ceiling is for this team, because it could be national championship.
Yeah, I don't think so. I cannot sell any more Oklahoma stock.
Wow.
Oklahoma, this offense is not sustainable, Matt Green. Like, this offense is bad. It kind of reminds me of Tennessee last year in some ways, where Tennessee got 10-2, made the playoff, had a top 10 defense. The offense was just, they went a month without scoring in the first half last season. The offense never quite got into gear. It just never was 100%. Dylan Sampson was awesome, but outside of Dylan, it was a rough passing game, obviously. Oklahoma's passing game is not good. Their running game is not good. John Mateer led Oklahoma in rushing again here, but it was 60 yards on the ground. I don't think this is sustainable, Matt. The Mizzou, their run game was obviously shut down, and Oklahoma's front seven, absolutely legit. I have no qualms about Oklahoma's defense. Their defense is absolutely a top 10 unit. It's legit. But you're not winning multiple playoff games with this offense. This offense is a mess. They're 112th in passing offense in the month of November, Matt. You look at the receivers, like Burks and company, they're all right, but there's not a lot of juice to this group.
Yeah, they basically made the one play, the 80-yard touchdown by Satania. That was essentially the one play.
And it wasn't great. You just look around, you're like, I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of progress offensively. Like I said, the defense is legit, but you're going to be playing only playoff teams here in a month or so. So I don't see it. I do think they're a playoff team. I do think this defense is absolutely legit, but this offense is just rough. Mateer completed 50% of his passes here, 5.8 yards per attempt. I don't know, man. This offense, I don't know if is getting fixed here on November 23rd. And I do think they're having a great year defensively. To get to 10-2 potentially now with their schedule before the year. Hat tip, Brett Venables has done a great job, particularly on defense. This offense is not good enough to win multiple playoff games, in my estimation. So I don't know.
See, that's interesting. I feel like this team knows what they are. I like the character of this team. And Mateer has got a playmaking ability. They're not great. This offense is not good, but it's he finds kind of ways to make some plays. I don't know. I'm not selling any stock on Oklahoma, certainly. You look at Ohio State or something, just with how battle tested they are is one of the things that excites me the most. Ohio State played a 14-7 game against Texas. Obviously that's week 1, but they haven't played any other ranked teams since then, you know? So it's kind of crazy. So Oklahoma's doing this against really good competition. Like, I would argue maybe the best running back in college football and Ahmad Hardy, and you just put the shackles on this guy. Like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't sleep on Oklahoma. Alabama's offense has also looked really good at times. Like, they shut them down. Like, this team has been battle tested all season long.
They're 93rd in FBS in yards per play.
That's not great. The defense isn't, or the offense isn't great for sure. But you know, you can find ways to win. It's not always the same. Also, Mateer was not healthy mid-season. I don't know that they lose to Texas if Mateer's at full strength. Like, or maybe even Ole Miss. Like there's like back-to-back losses they had, right? So I think Oklahoma's a legit team, and LSU after that battle with Western Kentucky last night, I'm assuming Oklahoma can beat LSU and finish 10-2 and get in the playoff. Also, the bracket right now, I think, was projected Oklahoma versus Notre Dame in the first round to play Ohio State. And man, I'm not a playoff expansion advocate, but that's the kind of stuff that we want out of the 12-team playoffs, to see Oklahoma and Notre Dame playing for the right to play Ohio State.
Notre Dame's going to win that football game.
I think that's a tough matchup, sir. Jeremiah Love, you saw what they just did against Ahmad Hardy. I don't know. Don't sleep on the Sooners, sir.
Maybe not.
If that's the matchup, Oklahoma should definitely be the home team. I don't know.
Well, speaking of, I'm glad you brought this up, because this was something that we missed it here. And I wanted to jump into this real quick. So Andy Staples on 3 does a great job covering college football. Long time listener of Andy and Ori and reading his columns and all that, and he's really good. However, his projected 12-team playoff is brutal, Matt Green. Did you look at his playoff of like what it was? And again, it's not like it's just hit what his projection is on the CFP here, Matt. And I look at this and I'm like, we didn't need to expand. It's one of those where I had the exact opposite thought when you're looking at Notre Dame and everything else. I see this and I'm like, no, thank you. His 12-team bracket right now, Matt, when you look at it, so the first round, Tulane at Texas Tech. Sure. SMU, who might sneak in here after being mostly irrelevant all year, just going to sneak their way in as the ACC rep.
Back-to-back playoff appearances.
Yeah. At Ole Miss, who might not have their head coach. Bama at Oregon. I'll give you that. That'd be awesome. Here for that. And then Notre Dame at Oklahoma. I mean, all right, give me that too. But that's half of this bracket first round. Not fun. And also, you're not going to ever convince me if Miami beats Pitt on Saturday and Notre Dame wins out. If Notre Dame gets that final at large bid over Miami and Miami has the head-to-head win, it's going to really annoy me. It's going to really, really annoy me that Notre Dame gets in over Miami, because they shouldn't if they both finish 10-2 and it comes down to those two.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Who'd you say it was? Oregon versus Alabama?
Yeah, that'd be a fun one. Like Oregon, Bama would be great. Sign me up.
See, and I go back and forth with the playoff stuff, because I do feel like with how I think the expanded conferences force the expanded playoff, because I would be a lot more nervous about this season right now. And Georgia sitting at 11-1 and getting left out of a 14 playoff, like that would be a real possibility, because A&M's over here with the weakest schedule in the entire SEC. Like, the fact that you messed up the path to conference championships is why you kind of had to expand the playoff, because this SEC finish would be a lot more controversial if we only had a 14 playoff to look at. And it's like, if Alabama beats A&M, are they 2-loss? Do they jump Georgia? Like, that was the whole thing with Penn State and Ohio State, right? Back in like 2015, 2016, that Penn State won the conference, but got left out with Ohio State because they had 1 loss versus a 2-loss Penn State. Like those sorts of things happened in the 4-team era. So I don't know, but it was never Alabama getting left out. So, but yeah, I think right now, because of what they did to the conferences, you kind of had to expand the playoff. Like you look at Oregon's schedule. No, am I thinking the right team? No, like Penn State's schedule. Like Penn State played all of the contenders in the Big Ten. Obviously they turned out to not be one of them, and they're a terrible team this year. But it's like all of those good teams in the Big Ten. Oregon had the 1 game versus Indiana. Indiana obviously had the 1 game versus Oregon. Ohio State hasn't played any of them. Like it's kind of crazy. So like Indiana and Oregon might have an argument to be better than Ohio State right now, but they just haven't been tested on the field. So I think playoff expansion is required because of what they did to the conferences, personally.
Fair enough, Matt. Let's go Arkansas, Texas. 8.5 favorites, that being the Texas Longhorns in this one. This was a high-scoring affair in Austin. Matt Green, what did you take away from the Texas Longhorns taking care of business against Arkansas 52-37? Arch Manning, almost 400 yards to the air in this one.
Yeah, Arch Manning, I think we can at least agree that he's not bad. Like DJ Lagway has just been bad. Lenore Sellers been bad. Nussmeier lost his job. It's like Arch Manning just isn't, like, it was a bad year to be projected to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. But Arch Manning has turned out to just be fine. Like he's fine. Like I don't know if he's a top 8 quarterback in the SEC, but he's fine. He's not bad. This game was going for 2 quarters, basically exactly what we thought. And then whenever Taylor Green got hurt, basically Arkansas didn't do anything after that. But yeah, I mean, Arkansas scoring a bunch of points on you is just not really an indictment. They do this against everybody, and you were able to blow them out like a lot of other teams haven't. So yeah, if you're Texas, this is fine. It's a solid win. You took care of business.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Arch is you give him grace. And it's, again, he hasn't played a full season yet, and he's, I think, getting better at the right time. He's getting better as the season's gone on, and he's young, like he can get better. He's not a finished product, and he's going to continue to get more and more reps, and you would think have a better team around him in 2026 as well, and will continue on an upward trajectory. So we'll see. Like you said, he's somewhere in the middle right now, but he definitely has the talent to eventually rise to where folks thought he was going to be before. I don't know
that it'll ever get to where folks thought he was going to be.
We just don't know.
Ever going to be a 1st-round pick. Like I don't see him as that.
I can't say that because I think next year is a big year. His second year as a full-time starter. I think we'll learn a lot more about him at that point. Now that he's got a lot of reps, because I mean he sat for a long time, Matt, and I just think you learn by experience and actual in-game experience, and obviously playing in a lower classification in Louisiana. I don't know. I think the book is still out on Arch Manning and what he can ultimately be at Texas. And I think there was a lot more around him where, remember, the offensive line was not very good for Arch this year. And that's never great for a first-year starting quarterback. And then we talked about it last week with all the drops from his receivers and tight ends in the Georgia game that didn't really give him a chance, So I think there were different competing factors that it's never the quarterbacks. What is that expression? The quarterbacks get too much of the credit and too much of the blame. Yeah. And I think that's been kind of what's been the case when it comes to Arch Manning this year. But Arkansas's defense, it's always just what the doctor ordered, regardless of opponent. But I will say the Horns have now scored at least 34 points, Matt Green, in 3 of their last 4 SEC games. So the offense is figuring some stuff out.
Which one did they not score 30 points in?
That was the Georgia football game here in Athens.
Damn right, sir.
More troubling to me, Texas, their defense 106th in FBS in November in yards per play.
Yeah, that'll happen when you play a couple of the best offenses in the SEC. I don't know where Arkansas ranks, but they got to be up there, right? They're scoring points on everybody, and then we know how Georgia's been.
They're up there, and the reason I bring that up too, A&M's got a pretty good offense. I think A&M's going to put up some points on this Texas defense. This Texas defense is not good down the stretch.
I'm really excited for this game Friday night.
It'll be fun. Final big one to talk about here, Matt Green. Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was a 9.5-point home favorite. They blitzed way past that up 45-3 at one point. Statement win for the Commodores. I want to say this, Matt. Like, Diego Pavia is for sure a Heisman finalist, right? Like, no question a Heisman finalist at this point.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Just because a lot of it is like a campaign too, just like he's one of the bigger personalities in the sport, and not even just like saying it's like a popularity award or something. Like, he's got the numbers to back it up too. Like what everyone loves about Haynes King, it's like he's the same exact thing. Like, dude, just carrying the load, and he's also smaller, and he's got a better story as like a walk-on and junior college and all that. Like, yeah, I mean, I think 26 touchdowns, 6 picks right now, completing 71% of his passes. What is it? Over 600 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground, like 132 carries, like not as many carries as last year. Actually, I would have thought he had just as many, 800 yards last year. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this guy is just yeah, give him his respect, man. I'm all for him being in New York. Also, a pet peeve of mine is them not having 5 people, like 5 people in New York for the ceremony. It's like 5 people should go every single time. Like, this is an honor to finish top 5 in the Heisman. Invite everyone, even if only 3 guys have like a legit chance to win it or something. Invite all 5. So if they invite 5, I think he definitely should be one of them.
Can I give you a take?
Yeah.
I think everyone's overthinking this, and Diego Pavia is the Heisman. I think it's actually really silly that we're not giving if Diego does not win the Heisman. I think he is what you look at as what the Heisman Trophy, like the ethos of it, where it feels like everything revolves around Diego. Diego has Vanderbilt on the verge of a 10-win season, their first ever trip to the college football playoff. He's thrown 11 touchdowns, 1 pick his last 3 games here. He's peaking at the right time. He's blasting folks, trying to push his team over the top. Like you said, the personality is part of it. He is the epicenter of a double-digit win team. Like you said, he's putting up the number. He's 5th in QBR. He's someone that we're going to remember the most about this season.
Yeah.
He is the true meaning, I think, of the Heisman. Like, Diego Pavia is the Heisman. Like, Fernando Mendoza is the FanDuel odds leader, and that's like Fernando's a good player, but like Indiana did this I shouldn't say exact. Indiana did a lot of what they've done this year, last year with Curtis Rourke, the Ohio transfer, and it's just fair or not. Like, I can't give it to Fernando. I think he's somewhere, he probably belongs in that final 3. I think Fernando's had a great year. He's a good player. But like Jeremiah Love, no, like it's not the same. Like, Notre Dame could win a lot of football games without Jeremiah Love. Indiana could, I think, find an Ohio quarterback and still win 10 plus games this season. Kurt Cignetti is kind of the engine that makes all that work. Diego is the engine that makes all of this work for Vanderbilt. Like, without Diego, what are they? 6-win, 7-win team at most this year? Like, Diego Pavia, I understand. Like, it's an older team. It's like 40% of the roster is 22-year-olds. But like, Pavia is the leader of this group, and I think he is just the one who is doing the most with the least among all of those Heisman potential finalists. I don't know. To me, it can't. Julian Sand is disrespectful, I think, to have him higher than Diego Pavia, especially with what's around him and what he's been asked to do at Ohio State. I don't know. For
great
me,
player, but
yeah, like if it comes down to the final 3 of Diego, Jeremiah Love, or Fernando, I think it should come down to Love or Diego, and I would just lean towards what's on Diego's plate and give him the Heisman. Like, I think this season, even if Tennessee beats Vanderbilt on Saturday, I would give Diego Pavia the Heisman. He fits it more to me.
That's where I disagree with you, because he needs the Tennessee win, because who's their best win to this point? Missouri. All Missouri has done is just be like a couple teams' best win. Like, Missouri is nothing.
But
really
what is
special.
Fernando Mendoza's biggest win?
No, that's fair. But I think that's the biggest argument for Diego Pavia, is just like, or I guess it should be the biggest argument against these Big Ten candidates, is that they're not playing in big games. Like, Fernando Mendoza's Heisman moment is against a 4-7 like Penn State team or whatever their record is right now.
Well, they're going for bowl eligibility, Matt. They blasted Nebraska. If they win this week, they get to 6-6.
So they're 5-6 now. Okay. Yeah. It's like, that's not a Heisman moment. Like, you had the ranked win over Oregon. You played well. Like, that's their best win for sure. But like, Ohio State has not been like the one ranked win they have. They scored 14 points and had like 170 yards of offense or something. Like, the offense did nothing in those games. I know it's Julian Saint's first start of his career, but that has to matter. I'm kind of with you that I think we're overthinking it in terms of the Heisman is almost just like telling a story of the year of college football. It's like, this guy was the story of college football. As good as Ashton Jeanty was, this two-way player in Colorado is just, it's a bigger story that this guy was just this dynamic of an athlete, and you gave it to Travis Hunter a year ago. That's also why, I know I'm the Georgia fan here, that's also why Gunnar Stockton should be right in the thick of the race as well. Like, Gunnar Stockton has played as many ranked teams as all of those Big Ten quarterbacks combined. So it's like Georgia's in a situation where they're not just riding an elite defense with a game manager at quarterback. Like, Gunnar Stockton's actually making plays to win games for Georgia. And Diego Pavia is the workhorse on his team. Like, these guys are the kind of guys that have played a bunch of ranked opponents. I think they're the kind of guys that deserve to be in that conversation. Jeremiah Love too, throw him in there if you want.
That's what I'm saying. I think Love would probably be my number 2 this year, but like, Pavia is going to, so he's on pace for 3,200 yards passing. That's almost 1,000 more than what he had last year. And last year he raised his completion percentage from 59 to 71%, 9.4 yards per attempt. Like, it was mostly his legs last year where he burst in the scene. Now he's crushing folks with both, right? Like, through the air and with his legs. He's improved. Like, Pavia is the best story. Like you said, he's like, his 2-year run here at Vanderbilt. I don't know, man. I think
I wouldn't hate on it at all, for sure. He's got to beat Tennessee though. 10-2 at Vanderbilt. He beat Tennessee. Like, when was the last time Vanderbilt beat Tennessee? Is that Franklin? Like, sometime?
No, they beat. Pruitt lost to him.
Oh, okay, not that long ago then. But regardless, like, this is monumental. Like, I hope it doesn't happen. Then there might be more smoke with Jared Curtis flipping and stuff if Diego Pavia wins the damn Heisman. But I wouldn't hate on Diego Pavia winning the award as much as I feel like I would hate on Julian Sayin or Fernando Mendoza winning that award.
Yeah. Well, let's put the final one here on this, Matt. Georgia Tech will not have the same buzz we thought it might have. Pardon the pun.
Pun intended.
That is just brutal. Like, Haynes King pick 6 as they're getting ready to cut it back to a 1-score game. I think Haynes hadn't thrown a pick inside Bobby Dodd Stadium to that point since like his first season. So I think in his last 2 years, he had not thrown a pick at Bobby Dodd. Super accurate quarterback, high completion percentage. They just dug themselves an insane hole, kind of like what A&M did the previous week. But man, I just hate it for Tech and for the city and everything else. That hurt my soul. But I also was like, this is what Pitt does. Like, that was just a terrible time to get Pitt after getting embarrassed on national television against Notre Dame. I felt it in my core. Pitt's winning this football game. They're absolutely getting up for this. They're going to ruin Georgia Tech's season. This is horrible. I hate this is happening. Pitt's going to do it. And Pitt went into Georgia Tech and shocked the Yellow Jackets. But man, I will also say Georgia Tech was playing with fire for weeks. And it's just, eventually you're going to get burned, right? Like, they did it against Wake Forest. They've done it week over week. Like, Tech is a really good football team, but they have been just toting the line of disaster for the majority of this conference slate for them. So it stinks. Look, Georgia Tech is still going to be a big game on Friday, but man, I wish it was one of those where Tech was going in with their 2 losses and Georgia going in with 1 and all that juice there. There's still gonna be juice, obviously, with the ranked
chance to be
matchup.
2 playoff teams, that sort of thing.
I mean, Tech still has to win if they want to keep they have a slim path, like a very, very thin margin they need a lot of help. They don't have a path. They have a path. They need some serious help.
SMU all have 1 conference loss. Are you sure they can get in? I guess all those teams have one game left. I guess if they all lose.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they all lose, Tech's got a path.
If they all lose, can the ACC just pick who they want to be in the championship? And it's like, let's get Miami and Georgia Tech. That's the game that people want. SMU, if they get into the playoff, that'll just be ridiculous.
And also Miami left out. Like again.
Yeah. And who's Miami got?
Pitt.
I was thinking it was somewhere up north. Okay, yeah. Because last week was their first win outside of the state of Florida, I think, this year.
I
think only their second game. This will be their third game outside the state of Florida, Miami. 3 games out of 12. That's not bad if you can do it.
Well, that's all I've got. Matt Green. Fun slate. I can't wait for this week. I love rivalry week in college football. It's sad that the college football regular season will be wrapping up here, but it's going to be a great week of football. That much is true. And like I said, I can't wait for Tennessee Vandy on Saturday. And I can't wait for the talking back and forth. There's going to be a lot of talking on both sides leading up to this game. So excited about that. All kinds of big rivalry games. Like you said, A&M, Texas. We got the Egg Bowl at noon with all the drama there. There's all kinds of Michigan, Ohio State. Like Michigan can clinch a CFP berth and also a Big Ten title game berth if they beat Ohio State for the fourth straight year. And then you've got Ohio State, who I don't know where they would fall because they would miss the Big Ten title game. Like where would they still be a bye team if they lost this game?
And where's Michigan sitting right now? Like 16, 15. if they win, if they beat Ohio State, they're definitely going into the top 10 or 11. So it's like, and then can we not punish teams for losing conference championships? All of a sudden, Michigan is just in the playoff after just being like a mediocre team for 3 months. I can't
wait for Michigan, Ohio State too. Like it would just be hilarious if they keep this bit continues on. It just doesn't matter. They're just going to keep beating them.
They've beaten them 4 straight years at this point.
Yes,
that's absurd, man. I really do. I hope they can get it done. This one's in Ann Arbor, right? This year. So last year was the whole flag planting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm that's honestly one of the biggest reasons I'm excited about this new Black Friday tradition with Georgia and Georgia Tech is Georgia Tech found itself as the noon SEC network game lots of times. And then you're playing opposite Michigan, Ohio State. So let's go ahead and get that triple header on Friday and then a full slate of rivalry week on Saturday, man. I'm jacked about it.
Auburn, Bama too. Like Auburn can knock out Bama.
That's the night game. Yeah, that's the night one. And then, so what is the noon? Maybe Clemson, South Carolina is probably one of those. I don't know.
Did you watch Saturday?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Ohio State, Michigan is at noon.
Well, that's at noon, but I'm talking as far as the SEC games go.
Oh, it's not a big one. I don't think they're putting anything big on.
Maybe LSU, Oklahoma.
No, LSU's 3:30. Okay. Mizzou's 3:30. Yeah, I don't know who's at noon for. Let me see. I could probably find this out real quick. Who would be the nooner on Saturday? I mean, I won't be watching it. I will be watching. Oh, Kentucky, Louisville, and Clemson, South Carolina.
Okay. So, you'll have those at noon.
No, I'll be watching
Vanderbilt, Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma at 3:30. Florida State.
They're trying to hide that one on ESPN2 at 4:30.
Yeah, Florida State, man. So, Florida State can get to a bowl game. Man, that's going to be embarrassing if they don't get to a bowl after extending Norvell. Did they extend Norvell? I guess they just said he's we're not firing him yet.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was kind of a really long statement. Just kind of, it seems like they're not firing him, but who knows? That could change if they get embarrassed by Florida on the road here to wrap up the year.
Yeah, for sure. Miss a bowl game 2 years in a row after a 13-1 season that they want to pretend was a 13-0 season that they did play a 14th game.
All right, you're not kicking them while they're down. Matt Green, always a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again in a couple days.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.